Hi everyone, this is the second unit in the uh, first chapter, the economic way of thinking. Six ideas define the economic way of thinking. The first is a choice is a trade off. Since the resources are scarce, we have to make a choice, and a trade off is an exchange or giving up one thing to get something else. Because we face scarcity, we must make a choice. We select from the available alternatives. When you choose how to spend your Saturday night, you face a trade off because between studying and hanging out with your friends. To get more study time, you must give up some time with your friends. The second is the opportunity cost. Whenever individuals, businesses, or governments decide on a course of action, they face many trade offs. One alternative, though, is usually more desirable alternative or best alternative given up as a result of a decision is called the opportunity cost. For example, you choose to spend $20 on a potted plant. You have simultaneously chosen to give up the benefit of spending the $20 on pizza or a paperback book or a night at the movies. If the book is the most valuable of those alternatives, then the opportunity cost of the plant is the value of the enjoyment you otherwise expected to receive from the book. The concept of opportunity cost must not be confused with the purchase price of an item. The cost of something is what must be given up to get it, not the money spent on it. Economists use the term opportunity cost to emphasize this view of cost. The emphasis on opportunity cost is an emphasis on the examination of alternatives. The benefit of the economic way of thinking is that it pushes us to think about the value of alternatives in each problem solving. For example, if Malaysia bought two warships in 1992, paying a price equal to the cost of providing safe drinking water for 5 million Malaysians lacking it. So, in other words, the opportunity cost of warship was safe drinking water for 5 million people. You can say the same opportunity cost in terms of safe drinking water. So, if the Malaysia chooses to provide safe drinking water for 5 million people, then the opportunity cost of safe drinking water is the two warships. So, you're telling in terms of the value of the product given up based on the choice you have made, and it is not on the price of the product. So the opportunity cost is always in economics, opportunity cost is always expressed in terms of the uh, value given up and not the or the alternative foregone and not the price paid for the actual product or the choice you have made. The third is benefit what you gain. Economists measure benefit as the most that a person is willing to give up to get something. You're willing to give up a lot for something that brings a large benefit. The benefit of an activity is the gain or pleasure it brings. For example, because being in school brings a large benefit, you're willing to give up a lot of time and goods and services to get that benefit. You're willing to give up less that brings less benefit. For example, you might be willing to give up just one iTunes downtown to get a slice of pizza. The fourth is rational choice. A choice that uses the available resources to best achieve the objective of a person making the choice. The preference of the making a choice determine its benefit. So two people can make different rational choices even if they face the same cost. For example, you might like chocolate ice cream more than vanilla ice cream, but your friend prefer vanilla. So it is rational for you to choose chocolate and for your friend to choose vanilla. So when economists say that people behave rationally, they mean that people try to maximize the ratio of benefits to cost in their decisions. The next question is how much? That is choosing at the margin. The concept of marginalism and sunk cost. A choice on the margin in economics means is a choice that is made by comparing all the relevant alternatives systematically and incrementally. In other words, making choice at the margin or border or edge. Thinking at the margin means you're thinking about using one additional unit. The word marginal means additional. It means to think about your next step forward. The first glass of lemonade on a hot day quenches your thirst, but the next glass maybe not so much. So if you think at the margin, you're thinking about what the next additional action means to you. Now, what are sunk cost? A sunk cost is a past expenditure that cannot be recovered. Cost incurred in the past that cannot be changed. Sunk cost is not relevant to a firm when deciding how much to produce now. An expenditure on fixed input is sunk. It is not an opportunity cost. Sunk cost comes in the accounting cost since the company has already paid for it. Money spent on buying a machine, the cost of machine is already in the accounts. Example of sunk cost includes investment on R&D, bonus, training, rent, etc. All sunk costs are fixed, but all fixed costs are not sunk. So when company makes profit, fixed costs are recovered but not sunk cost. Let's see an example of opportunity cost or a cost benefit analysis while making a rational decision, or it's an example of thinking at the margin. So here the Karen, in this example, the Karen is looking at the opportunity cost of each extra hour of studying and comparing it to the benefit. So here you can see that 1 hour of studying means an opportunity cost of 1 hour of sleep and a benefit of probably passing the test with a C. So she decides to go in for second hour of extra study time, which costs her 2 hours of sleep. So the profit she gets or the benefit from that decision is she gets the grade of B on test. So when she decides to read for 3 hours of extra study time or to give 3 hours of extra study time, she's giving up, or the opportunity cost of 3 hours of extra study time is 3 hours of sleep. But the benefit she's getting is only or her grades will improve only slightly by B plus. So this is where she has to decide to go on for the additional extra hour of study time or not. So here the Karen makes a cost and benefit analysis and she decides to awaken 2 hours of earlier. So comparing opportunity cost and benefit at the margin enabled Karen to decide how many hours to study. Such a comparison could help someone decide how much money to spend on a car, how many hours to work, and how much time to spend watching television. Employers think at the margin when they decide how many extra hours to hire. Legislators think at the margin when deciding if the government program should include more of a particular benefit. So this decision-making process is sometimes called cost-benefit analysis. Decision makers just have to compare the opportunity cost and benefit, what they will sacrifice and what they will gain. Once the opportunity cost outweighs the benefit, no more units should be added. Rational choices compare the marginal benefit of an activity to its marginal cost and undertake the activity if marginal benefit exceeds or equals marginal cost. The meaning of marginal cost is an opportunity cost that arises from a 1 unit increase in an activity. The marginal cost of something is what you must give up to get 1 additional unit of it. The marginal cost of any activity increases as you do more of it. You know that going to the movie decreases your study time and lowers your grade. Suppose that seeing a second movie in a week lowers your grade by 5 percentage points. Seeing a third movie will lower your grade by more than 5 percentage points. So your marginal cost of going is increasing as you see more movies. Whereas marginal benefit is a benefit of a 1 unit increasing in an activity is called marginal benefit. The marginal benefit of something is measured by what you're willing to give up to get 1 additional unit of it. The fundamental feature of marginal benefit is that it diminishes because the marginal benefit from a movie decreases as you see more movies. You're willing to give up less to see 1 additional movie. For example, you know that going to the movie decreases your study time and lowers your grade. Your willingness to pay to see a movie decreases as the number of movies increases. When the marginal cost equals marginal benefit, the choice is rational and it is not possible to make a better choice. Scarce resources are being used in the best possible way. The last one is choices respond to incentives. The choices we make depend on the incentives we face. An incentive is a reward or a penalty, a carrot, marginal benefit, or a stick, marginal cost, that encourages or discourages an action. A change in marginal benefit or a change in marginal cost changes the incentives that we face and leads us to change our actions. As the test dates approaches, the marginal benefit from studying increases and the incentives to study become stronger. For this reason, we observe an increase in study time and decrease in leisure pursuit during the last few days before a test. The more important the test is, the greater is its effect. A change in marginal cost also changes incentives. You figured that the marginal cost of taking an evening off to enjoy a movie was low and that your grade on next test would not suffer, so you had a movie feast. But this week the going has gotten tough. You're just not getting it, and your practice test scores low. So if you take off even one evening this week, your grade on next test will suffer. The marginal cost of seeing a movie is now high, so you decide to give the movies a miss. By observing changes in incentives, we can predict how choices changes. So this is a summary of 6 ideas that are core of the economic approach. The first is a choice is a trade-off. The second is cost is what you must give up to get something. Third is benefit is what you gain from something. The fourth is people make rational choices by comparing cost and benefit. The fifth is most choices are how much choices made at the margin. Choices respond to incentives. The next comes positive and normative statements. Two kinds of assertions in economics can be subjected to testing. A positive statement is a statement of fact or hypothesis. Statements about what is are positive statements. It could be right or wrong, and it can be tested. And it is based on cause and effect relationship. Another testable assertion is a statement of facts, such as it is raining outside, or Microsoft is the largest producer of operating system for personal computers in the world. So this is a fact. So like hypothesis, such assertions can be demonstrated to be false and can also be shown to be correct. A statement about what is, like our planet is warming because of the quantity of coal that we are burning, is a positive statement because it is based on cause and effect relationship. The second is normative statement is about what ought to be. These statements depends on values and cannot be tested. A normative statement depends on someone's value judgment. Such a judgment is the opinion of the speaker. No one can prove that the statement is or is not correct. Here are some examples of normative statement in economics. We ought to do more to help the poor. People in the United States should save more, etc. What are economic theories and models? Economic theory attempts to generalize above data and interpret them. An economic theory is a statement or set of related statements about cause and effect, action and reaction. One of first theories in economics is the law of demand, which states when the price of a product rises, people tend to buy less of it. When the price of a product falls, they tend to buy more. Economic model is a description of the economy or part of the economy that includes only those features assumed necessary to explain the observed facts. A model is analogous to a map. If you want to know more valleys and mountains, use a physical map. If you're studying nations, use a political map. In economics, we use mathematical and graph-based models. One of the most popular economic models is called the demand-supply model. Economists are interested in positive statements about cause and effect, so they develop economic models. To check an economic model against the facts, economists use natural experiments, statistical investigations, and laboratory experiments. Ceteris paribus means all other things being equal in Latin. It is a device used to analyze the relationship between two variables while the values of other variables are held unchanged. In formulating economic theory, the concept helps us simplify reality to focus on the relationship that interests us. So I've given some practice questions here. You can watch yourself. Thanks for watching.